All right, welcome back. It's time for another Ohio State Test Standard Review. Today, we're looking at Standard 8.EE.7. This has to do a lot with finding either multiple solutions, one solution, or no solutions for various equations. So we're going to hop right into it with this first question here. An equation is shown 12x minus parentheses 3x plus 7 equals negative 3 times 4 minus 3x. So I'm going to rewrite it over here so I have room to work with. 3x plus 7 equals negative 3 times 4 minus 3x. All right. So when we originally talked about equations, I talked about a mnemonic device called Don't Call Me After Midnight. Okay, don't call me after midnight. And that represents the 5 steps to solving an equation. You start with distribution. You distribute, then you combine like terms. Then you move all variables to one side. Then you undo your addition and subtraction. And finally, undo your multiplication and division. Okay, so let's go in step order here. Step 1, distribute. So the obvious thing here is that we have this negative 3 to distribute. The less obvious one is we have this negative sign right here. And this negative sign does have to be distributed to this parentheses. You can do it by multiplying by negative 1, or you could just change the sign of whatever's in the parentheses. So let's do that. 12x equals negative 1 times negative 1 times 3x would give us negative 3x. All we're doing is changing the sign. Negative 1 times 7 would be negative 7 equals negative 3 times 4 is negative 12, and negative 3 times negative 3x would be positive 9x. Remember, distribution is always, always, always multiplication. So that's distribution. Now we go to combine like terms. Combining like terms, you draw your fence. Okay, I'm a big fan of the fence through the equal sign. You're looking for like terms on the same side of the fence. Remember, for something to be a like term, it either has to have the same variable and exponent or lack thereof. Okay? So 12x and negative 3x are like terms because they both have x and only x. So we're going to combine these. To combine them, you just combine your coefficients using the sign out front. So we have positive 12 minus 3. 12 minus 3 is 9. Then the x just comes down. Minus 7 equals negative 12 plus 9x. So that's combining like terms done. Now we go to move all variables to one side. You pick one of the variables and you move it. I'm going to pick the 9x over here. So now we're crossing the fence. So in order to cross the fence, you have to do the opposite of what you have. I always like to say opposite side, opposite sign. So instead of positive 9x, we're going to do minus 9x. And what you do to one side of the fence, you have to do to the other. So that cancels out. That leaves you with negative 7 equals negative 12. And, well, that cancels out. Uh-oh. We have no variables left. That's fine. Okay. So when it comes to how many solutions does it have, you have 4 options. Okay. You have one solution. This is your standard x equals 4. One solution. Okay. You have 2 solutions. That's usually when you have like an x squared equals 16, because remember, in order to get rid of an x squared, you have to square root, and every square root has two solutions, both a positive and a negative root. You have no solutions and infinite solutions, and that's when you solve your equation and you're left with no variables left. Okay? If you have no variables left and your numbers do not match, for example, -7 and 12 are different numbers, this is immediately no solutions, which you denote with a sign like that. If the numbers do match, for example, this was -7 equals -7, then you have infinite solutions. But for the purposes of this problem, we have no solutions. So the answer is A. Question 2. Which equation has no solution? Okay, so I'm going to cut off here a little bit. And let's find out. We'll start with our first one. A, 3x plus 1 equals 3x minus 1. Okay, so we run down our checklist of don't call me after midnight. Distribute. Nothing to distribute. Combine like terms. Nothing on the same side of the fence to combine. Move all variables to one side. All right, we'll move this 3x by subtracting 3x from both sides. And we're in the same situation we were last time. That cancels, that cancels. That leaves us with 1 equals -1. Does 1 equal -1? No. So it's no solution. And that's it. It's A. All right. An equation is given. 3x minus 9 plus 4x equals 2 times 18 minus x. So again, I'm going to rewrite the problem out here so I have more room to work with. Equals 2 times 18 minus x. Okay. So we go in don't call me after midnight order. Step 1, distribute. Do we have any distribution? We do. When you think distribution, you think parentheses. If you see parentheses and something in front of it, you have distribution. Remember, distribution is always, 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 always multiplication. So we rewrite 3x minus 9 plus 4x equals 2 times 18. Well, you could pull up your calculator if you need to pull up your calculator. 2 times 18 would be, times 18 I said is 36. 2 times negative x is negative 2x. All right, so now we go to combine like terms. We draw our fence. Are there any like terms on the same side of the fence? There are. There's 3x and 4x. 3x plus 4x makes 7x, because 3 plus 4 makes 7, minus 9 equals 36 minus 2x. We go to our next step. We move all variables to one side. Typically when I do this, I like to move the smaller variable because I like to try to keep things positive. So my smaller variable in this case is negative 2x. So I'm going to get rid of it by adding 2x to both sides. That'll cancel out. 7x plus 2x is 9x minus 9 equals 36. Our next step, we have to undo our addition and subtraction. So, when we say we're undoing addition and subtraction, that means we're getting rid of any addition and subtraction that's on the same side of the variable. So, in this case, negative 9. We're going to undo it by doing the opposite. So, instead of minus 9, we're going to plus 9. That'll leave us with 9x equals 45. And then finally, we undo our multiplication and division. This 9 is being multiplied by x. It's tied to the x by multiplication, so we have to do the opposite, which is division. That leaves you with x equals, because that will cancel out, 45 divided by 9 is 5. And that is your answer. is 5. Alrighty. So we go to our next question. An equation is given. 3 times 2x plus 2 plus 3x equals 10. And it says, which equation is equivalent to the given equation? Remember, equivalent means equal, the same. Okay? Now, you see that we're not getting final answers here. We're not getting x equals something, and we're not getting no solutions. So we want to do this step by step. So again, don't call me after midnight. Step 1, distribute. Distribute. Remember, distribution is always multiplication. 3 times 2x makes 6x. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 3x, because everything else just comes down. And we stop and then we look at our choices. Does this match any of our choices? Hey, wow, look at that. It matches D. Right there. So you stop because you got it. And you're good. What is a solution to the equation 3x plus 2 plus 5x equals 16? Okay, 3x plus 2 plus 5x equals 16. So we keep going down our checklist. Distribution. No parentheses, no distribution. Combine like terms. We check the fence. Are there any like terms on the same side of the fence? There are. There's 3x and there's 5x. You combine those. 3 plus 5 makes 8x plus 2 equals 16. Move all variables to the same side of the equal sign. That's already done. Undo addition and subtraction on the same side as the variable. So we got to get rid of this positive 2. To do that, we do the opposite of plus 2, which is minus 2. That leaves you with 8x equals 14. Finally, we undo our multiplication division by doing the opposite of multiplication, which is divide. 14 divided by 8. That'll give you 1.75 if you put that in your calculator. So x is equal to 1.75. And that's that. All right. These we're going to rapid fire through a bit, because these are short, simple equations. Select whether each equation has no solution, one solution, or infinitely many solutions. All right, so let's talk about this. Okay. Could I go through the work of solving each and every one of these? Yes, but let's talk about some things that we can see without even having to do any algebra. Okay, number 1, 7x plus 10 equals 7x plus 10. That's literally the exact same thing. They literally just took your left side, you cut it, and then you pasted it on the right side. It's the same thing. You don't need to do algebra because it's the same thing. So it's infinitely many. 4x equals 4x plus 3. You know that when you go to start this, one thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to move all the variables to one side. So when you get rid of this, you're going to have to subtract 4x from each side. That's going to leave you with nothing on the left side and no x on the right side. You'll be left with 0 equals 3. No variables, they don't match. It's no solution. Next one, 5x plus 3 equals 2x minus 3. So here's how this works. You know that one of your first steps is going to be moving your 2x over, or moving your 5x over. And you know that once you move it over, you're still going to have an x remaining. And since you have an x remaining, because you have 3x plus 3 equals negative 3, since you still have a variable left and there's no way it can go away, that will just be one solution. Finally, 2x plus 8 equals 3 plus 2x when you go to move the variables. Hey, wow, look at that. Both of your variables are gone. You're left with 8 equals 3, which does not match. So it's no solution. So you can get by these without doing too much math if you have logic. Okay? Here we go, another question just like it. Select a box to identify whether each equation has no solution, one solution, or infinite solutions. We look at this first one here. I know that when I go to move this 2x, I'm going to add 2x, I'm going to be left with an x. There will be a negative x left over. And since there is no way for that negative x to go away, that has to be one solution. If you are left, if you move stuff around, and you get to the point where you only have variables on one side of the equation, and there still exists a variable, it will be one solution. Negative 2x plus 3 equals negative 2x plus 3. You're going to go through the work of moving over the negative 2x by adding it. Cancel, cancel. You get 3 equals 3. That matches, so that's infinite. The negative 2x plus 3 equals 2x plus 3. Now, this one looks deceptive because it looks like you're going to end up canceling these out. But in order to move it over, in order to move your variable over, remember you have to do the opposite. The opposite of minus 2x is adding 2x. Adding 2x. Which means you're going to be left with 3 equals 4x plus 3. I still have an x left over. So that means it's going to be one solution. And that's it. An equation is shown. 6x minus 3 equals 3x plus 12. What is the solution to the equation? All right, so here we go. We check. Distribution. None. Combine like terms. Anything on the same side of the fence? No. So then we move all variables to one side. I'm going to move this 3x by subtracting 3x from both sides. That'll cancel out. That'll leave us a 3x minus 3 equals 12. Next step, undo your addition and subtraction. I realize I'm going through this kind of fast now, but that's because these problems get very repetitive. There is just a simple step-by-step process that we follow for the most part. There's rare exceptions, but for the most part, it's just the same step-by-step process. You just got to know the process and you got to follow it. 3x equals 12 plus 3 is 15. Divide by 3. You get x equals 5. 5. That's it. Which equation has exactly one solution? Okay, so we're going to use that same logic that we used in previous questions. Remember that I said that if you get to a point where you only have variables on one side of the equation instead of on both sides, if you only have variables on one side of the equation, then it will always just be one solution. So knowing that logic, it's immediately A. And that's it. All right. So that's equation solving. That's multiple different kinds of solutions. Okay. I hope that was helpful. Like I said, I know we went kind of fast at the end, but I didn't want this video to be too long. And like I said, it's just repeating the same 5 steps. Distribute, combine like terms, move all variables to one side of the equation, undo your addition and subtraction on the same side as the variable, undo your multiplication and division on the same side of the variable. Your goal is to get the variable by itself, like that. Okay, so that's going to do it for this standard. I'll be back for another one. Until then, good luck on your state test.